pleased to have with us two presenters today. So Randy Peterson has a 30-plus year background in buying and selling specialty ingredients, both in the United States as well as globally. He was a founding partner in Specialty Commodities, which was purchased by ADM. He's got a wide range of experiences and is a very talented entrepreneur. Track record of wholesale ingredient trade. You guys can read it yourself, just a very wide range of information and knowledge, and we're pleased to have Randy with us today. He founded Maltworks in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota in 2017. I've actually had the pleasure of touring the facility, and it is it's a remarkable facility that's really helping the region grow. They provide specialty malt, sprouted grains, and ingredients for the craft beverage industry. In addition, we've got Bruce Livingood. Bruce is the co-founder of Maltworks. He worked as a technical process advisor in the seed and grain industry. He worked for Heartland Flax in Valley City, North Dakota, and helped grow the flaxseed industry by developing cold press, shelf-stable milled flaxseed and flaxseed oil. And he joined Randy in 2017 when they began the construction of Maltworks in Detroit Lakes.
Good morning. I'm sitting in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and it's a beautiful day. We don't have any sunshine, but we're expecting some snow, so I'm looking forward to that because all the snow melted. We were just talking about the great fishing that's yet to come before ice disappears. I'm here to introduce you to a new product called Veggie Crumbs. It's made out of 100% vegetable. It's an innovative new delivery system for vegetables. It's shelf stable. It can be made out of any vegetable. It's got a clean label. I'm showing right here in the Veggie Crumbles. We've got in 3 styles, which is our carrot and turmeric, our purple carrot, and our red beet, which we've started marketing. They're all certified by the FSMA program. They're third-party audited, gluten-free, non-GMO, and all natural. Some general nutrition facts. We make this product currently overseas. Our long-term plans are to make it domestically. It takes about 8 pounds of fresh vegetables to make 1 pound of our vegetable crumbs. And you might say, what the heck are vegetable crumbs? And vegetable crumbs are, it's a product that can be replaced for breadcrumbs. It can be used for toppings. I'll go through it as we go through. But the general nutrition facts of it, it's very good source of fiber and potassium. They're produced in a nut-free facility. As I mentioned, we can make this out of any vegetable. Right now we're on the marketing of orange carrot with turmeric. We added the turmeric to give a carrot a better color, more to resemble a breadcrumb, if you will. But ultimately, turmeric's very healthy for you as well. The purple carrot is perfect if you're a purple people eater, a Vikings fan, that is. And red beets, very high in antioxidants. We are introducing now a new cauliflower veggie crumb, which looks to be probably one of our biggest sellers going forward. We've got several orders already in place on it. And coming soon, we're going to make it out of spinach. Well, we already are spinach, kale, parsnips, tomatoes, parsley. Leeks I see aren't on here, but leeks are a really unique item that we're making. And can't really check this out real good, but we can make the product in various sizes. So like right on the bottom of this photo, the vegetable crumb is kind of like the size in this photo. It's hard to tell, but like a breadcrumb you'd find on the store today. But we can make it into a flour, so it's just a powder, or a real fine granule, depending on the application that you're planning to use it. One of the first applications this product was introduced was by a company in Austria. and it's being marketed in Europe, and it can also be found in the United States now. But Strong Roots, what they're doing is they're spinach bites. They're taking fresh spinach, adding some spices, and then enrobing it with our carrot crumb and lightly deep frying it or baking it, and then flash freezing it. So it's in the frozen section. Broccoli and purple carrot is the same. That's what's so crazy about this item and this new delivery system of vegetables. It truly can be used as a replacement for flour. It can be used as a replacement for breadcrumbs. It can be used as a fresh salad dressing. I'll go through them all. Sorry, I'm getting carried away. If there's anybody have any questions, please let me know as I'm walking through this. So one of the projects we have going right now is for seafood, fish. Up in our country, we're walleye fishermen. Bruce is probably the best fisherman in Detroit Lakes area. Anyways, you go fishing with him, he catches a fish, you don't, you watch. I don't know what he does, but he also cooks some of the best walleye in the country, I'll tell you. And so it's great for baking, it's great for frying, it's great for roasting fish, poultry, virtually, it could be anything as well as plant-based as well. We can use it in bakery. Mark was saying about their bakery division there. It can be used in granolas, and that's kind of one of the main things we want to talk about here right at the moment anyways, is the cereals.
So Randy, we've got a couple of questions. So can you make a soup from this? Could it be a soup base, or is it more of a solid or a crumble? Is it possible to turn it into a soup?
It'll rehydrate quite real swiftly in moisture. So you can put it into smoothies. You can make it into like a beet mash or a carrot mash and serve as a side dish. So yeah, you can put it into a broth and it'll thicken up a broth. So you can put it on, make your tomato soup and give it a coat of carrots or beets. Leeks actually are really good in that application.
And then from a baking application standpoint, is it more, would you consider it more of a topping, or is it something that you can use to enhance the nutrition of traditional breads and other baked goods?
You can use it for both. As the photo we have on here, we got corn muffins sprinkled with beet crumbles. And you can mix it into your dough, but it will not, won't be crunchy, because that's one thing that's cool about this product. I mean, it's ready to eat. It's crunchy. And it's not like any regular dehydrated vegetable, which is really hard if you've tried dehydrated vegetables. And so this adds like a crunch, like a cracker. You'd use it as a replacement for crackers on a soup. Or it can go right into the broth. I know our lead salesman for Vegify, Susan Neuschwander, she loves it in a broth. One of her main ways.
So we're getting the question: are they a good source of protein?
Can buzz back up to the nutrition facts right here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Your protein's around 2%, your potassium 10%. I see calcium 2%, so it's quite healthy.
Very good. Thank you.
So it can be used, the cereals, which is kind of something new. I'm going to go ahead here a little bit on that slide and go into granola. Our veggie crumbles are perfect nutrition addition to any granola or energy bar. And I've been involved with ancient grains and specialty ingredients for a long time. And I remember introducing chia seed and quinoa, or is it quinoa? I don't know how we pronounce it. And back in the day, I remember throwing it away because we couldn't create markets for it back. We were trying to create markets. And it's amazing what this vegetable crumble can do to a cereal or granola. It can make it crunchy and it can make it healthier. And it's a whole different way of receiving your vegetables, especially in breakfast cereals. So we're making it out of, with Dakota Specialty Milling out of Fargo. It's not really a collaboration, but Jacqueline Knutson, who's one of their R&D people, and Taryn Fizzle created a granola out of the vegetable crumbs, and that we were going to introduce last year at Expo West in California. Unfortunately, Expo West was canceled and a lot of things have changed since then. So we've got a purple carrot granola, and we've got a carrot with turmeric granola, and you can make it with any grains, other fruits, nuts, seeds. You can see this one better. You see it? Can you see that, Mark?
It's a little small, but I think we can get the gist of it.
Yeah. So, you know, it just goes on and on what you can do, even for breakfast. I mean, we don't eat vegetables for breakfast. Very rare. I mean, we might in our omelet, right? Or something like that. You know, sure, we got hash browns. But if you go to Asia and other parts of the world, vegetables are a big part of every breakfast. And here we go. We got a multi-grain sprouted grain bread. It's got all of our local grains. It's got flax and sunflowers. The only thing that's coming from the south here is the peanut butter. But on top, we've got veggie crumbs. You know, gives you a crunch if you like a crunch in your peanut butter. I know I do. And it's just, you know, we keep going on the multiple uses for this, you know, for goods marketing people. It's just a whole new interesting thing to come up with. When I first saw it, I was amazed.
One of the challenges for Americans is getting enough vegetables in their diets. It seems like this is a good way to incorporate this. The prior speaker we had on this webinar series was talking about whole grains, and the combination of whole grains, sprouted grains, and or these veggie crumbles seems like a really nice combination to.
Oh, it is, and you can have it throughout the day. You know, we go, you know, with a salad like we got a picture of right here. I made one this morning, and you know, I don't know. It's, you know, instead of putting those old ugly, or excuse me, I shouldn't say this, bacon bits on that don't taste that great. These vegetables add a great crunch. I mean, it's really fantastic. So, I mean, you can put it on toppings, on salad. You can put it into spice blends, make your own fish blends, batters. You can put it on yogurt. You can put it on, I see we have fudge on here, excuse me. It won't work on fudge, but it'll definitely work on chocolate. So, you know, one of our team members makes bars out of, what's the recipe? Chocolate, peanut butter, and veggie crumbs. So you got to use some milk chocolate because it rehydrates very swiftly, very quickly. So, but in dark chocolates and milk chocolates, instead of Rice Krispies or nuts, you can put vegetables in there. It's like a crunch bar. It's amazing how good it is. I mean, you can put it on your yogurt. You know, it's I don't know if you can see this or not, but that didn't work real good. But give you an idea, this yogurt with your favorite granola bar and with a little extra crunch of vegetables on it. My little grandson Finn, he loves it. You know, he has no clue he's eating vegetables. He's just smiles. You know, sorry, I better keep going here. Oh, I see on here sushi. It's great on sushi, and we have a couple companies actually that are experimenting to put it on an application on popcorn. So it's just and I think this was a slide here. Somebody asked about soup earlier. Sauces and smoothies works there, fantastic. And so from Think Better Foods, our team created the Vegify brand, which is what we're marketing it under for retail and wholesale as well. Now we're offering it under the Vegify brand, and the product's available on Amazon, Shop Veggie, a new site that just came up. And it's just an easy way to get your vegetables every day. So you mix, coat, top. What's really cool is 1/4 cup equals 1 serving of vegetables.
So we do have a question, Randy. Are they freeze dried and do you get the flavor? How flavorful are they?
Well, they're not over. I mean, how would you explain them, Melissa?
It's more of just a texture enhancement and color, and you have the flavor of the dish.
I don't know if you could hear that.
We couldn't know if you could.
But I got my assistant here, Alyssa. She's doing a great job keeping me rolling here. And but it doesn't have a lot of flavor, and that's really what's actually good in a lot of respects. Like a lot of people don't like the beet flavor. Where I grew up eating my grandma's beets, and I love pickled beets, And but there's a slight taste of the red beet in there, but it's down because of it. You'll enjoy eating it. It's more of just enhancing the food, where the crunch and a texture.
Very good.
It doesn't change the flavor of your dish at all. I can't even pronounce what this bowl is. It's ACI. I chased it one time in the rainforest. I couldn't find it, but anyways, ACI bowl, something like that. So anyways, the Vegify brand or product is gluten-free. It's rich in fiber. It's vegan. It's kosher. It's non-GMO. It's shelf stable. It's a product right now. It's being manufactured in Poland and will be soon in Germany. And our plans are with our partners is to bring it and to produce the product here long term. And long term, I'm meaning in the next year or two. We have to develop the market first for it, but we're starting our basis, focusing on root crops, potatoes, beets, carrots, which we can raise very efficiently up in this market. They may not be table, in some areas but it's a product that we need to manufacture here, particularly because the major multinational companies we're working with want 2 or 3 locations in case one location goes down. And now with the recent pandemic, we're seeing it more than we've ever seen. The market has gone to just-in-time inventory in the last 10 years. And boy, under conditions where we're facing on a global scale and logistics have now slowed down 30 days plus, products just all of a sudden getting lost. I think Mark was explaining one right before the show. We have to have multiple locations where we're going to manufacture this product, because it's the team's belief that we're going to create a million ton market for this product long term. It's an amazing product. It really is. And I guess it goes back to the label. On our carrot label is carrot, potato, and turmeric. That's it, folks. That's it.
And as you said, this region we're very good at growing root crops. I mean, people don't think about them, but this region has a long history, whether it's Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Montana.
Yeah, cauliflower we're seeing is a very popular one. One of we believe will be the largest consumed one at this point. And We can grow cauliflower up in this market. It just typically what we grow here is kind of the ugly fruit, if you will. But for this project, we don't care if our fruit or our vegetables are ugly. We don't care. In fact, that's okay because then we can buy them more reasonably priced, right? And so that in that standpoint, we're green and sustainable.
Very good.
I'm going to pass along to Bruce here. We're moving into sprouted grains. And Bruce, I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Anyway, the Maltworks premium ingredients, obviously we have lots of ingredients, but we also have the ability to sprout organic or conventional seeds, grains, etc. Whole grains in particular, I think everybody's pretty aware that they contain an increased amount of phytonutrients, etc., in comparison to heavily refined grains. The manufacturing system that we utilize is ideal for sprouting grains. It gives us total ability to control the environment, the moisture, and then finally, but very importantly, it allows us to perform it in a food safety manner, all stainless steel equipment, and then processing begins. You can put back again. The sprouted grains are simply whole grain seeds that have begun to germinate and then are processed before they can grow into a plant. As you can see in that picture there, those are rootlets that have popped out of some grain that really and truthfully has probably been sprouted beyond what would be used for wheat. Because in general, the wheat would be still, you'd want to have it to where you could make good bread out of it. So the bottom line issue is we stop the process of sprouting, and yet the seed is still in the process of germinating, which definitely changes the phytonutrient complex.
So we've got a couple of questions. Randy, going back to your presentation on the veggie crumbles, the question is, if you're building a manufacturing plant in North Dakota or Minnesota, South Dakota or Montana, are you going to be able to source enough locally produced vegetables?
We really believe we can, yes. All the products are focused that have been involved with producing myself and others. Even at NDSU, they have a great vegetable program that I've not been involved with directly, but indirectly. I visited with Juan Lee, particularly one of your professors at NDSU. And so we can produce the product here for sure.
Very good. So Bruce, so we're seeing this picture of the sprouted grains. How does the milling process impact? You've got the sprout on there. You want to, is that sprout included when you start looking at the milling process? And maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves.
No, what we'd like to do in our sprouted grain, and we've tested it to find out when there's a significant change in the enzymes, et cetera. And prior to it I can't say wasting, but we want to get it ready to pop, but not pop, because that sort of thing doesn't lend itself well to the total nutritional package. You start using up some of the nutrition to create that. So there's a point in time when you have a scientifically proved sprouting seed. Goes from grain to seed to sprout. And we are able to control it very well, as I'd mentioned, in our all stainless steel equipment. We have proper, what we'll call, it's a bad word, but it's very well used now, kill stepping, meaning that when we're done with the product, it doesn't really present any problems in milling, et cetera. And depending on which grain or seed that we're sprouting, will really and truthfully depend on the enzyme level that is there. The big benefit of sprouted grain is, quite honestly, it removes the phytic acid. Phytic acid is an inhibitor It keeps the grain safe so it doesn't sprout until it gets wet and placed in soil. We kind of handle that step by sprouting. And the grain is dried down to where it is usable for, making flour, whatever you're actually making. And they're making, for whatever reason right now, sprouted grain has become increasingly popular to put on your labels. And what I found is that a lot of people are using sprouted grain in small portions. Some people are going all sprouted grain. And I guess I got applications of sprouted grains brought up here. Breads, obviously, and that's been going on for quite a while. I worked with Dave's Killer Bread on initiating sprouted grain in their product, other companies as well. Breakfast cereal, muffins, waffles, pastas, tortillas, and now the new craze is plant-based meat alternatives. The utilization of beans in general, whether it be black beans, chickpeas, whatever the case might be, and then to sprout those and make them biosafe, ready for milling, is going to be increasingly more important as time goes on. I wasn't very many years ago, I was trying some plant-based meat alternatives and I thought, oh, this ain't gonna be anything. It is. I had a sprouted black bean burger and I have to tell you that it was good. I mean, it wasn't like filet mignon from an Angus cow grown in North Dakota or South Dakota. But the bottom line issue, it was totally acceptable, totally good for me. And I could actually eat those once a week. One of the, you can go back to I think, yeah. One of the benefits of this product is we do it scientifically. For years and years, people have been saying, okay, sprouted grain. And I know of one fellow that takes all this flaxseed and he dumps it in a barrel, he gets it wet, and then into the gamish it goes. No indications that it has actually reached that point, which doesn't take a long time, but it does take some hours to consider it sprouted or to have changed it enzymatically enough to what I would call sprouted. Whole grain in general, is probably going to be the biggest market due to some of the research and stuff that I've been reading recently, including the stuff I get from IFT, which I'm a member of, shows clearly that there's tremendous benefits in the whole grain market over the what we'll call refined flours, et cetera. And it's one of these things you can measure scientifically. Years and years ago, nobody ever measured it scientifically. They said it sprouted, yeah, because the sprout came out. Well, did you sprout it too far? Possibly. And I'm not saying always that you do, but there is a change and you're starting up to use some of that plant's energy. As I mentioned, the ability to actually be able to biologically consume the nutrients is greatly enhanced from sprouting, not just because it removes the phytic acid, but because you have this thing called digestible and indigestible fiber. The indigestible fiber is one of those things found in highest concentration in whole grain. And absolutely, I just read a new paper on it this morning. It's one of these things where they see it worthy of continuing studying on the utilization of whole grains over the refined grains. Okay.
So a couple of quick questions for you, Bruce.
Yeah.
So functionality wise, so when you start talking about using sprouted grains and right, I think that you covered the health benefits very well. How does that impact functionality? So if somebody wants to bake a loaf of bread with sprouted grains or milled sprouted grains, is that going to alter how that bread is baked essentially?
Well, I think a lot of people, they don't have a measurement that they're using to indicate that the sprouting process hasn't brought, like, say, a hard red wheat, that the falling number is so low that it will no longer, you get an awful dense loaf, your bread won't rise. And some people go ahead and they use the sprouted grain either way, but then they add other refined grain to it or another type of wheat to it to enhance its ability to make bread. We believe you really shouldn't go under 250 in the hard red wheat sprouting process, which is approximately a 30% reduction of it in a general sense, 30% reduction in the falling number. If it starts at 450, take it down to 350 or whatever the case might be. We generally run to 25 to 30% decrease in the falling number from where you actually start with. So you start with something good, take the falling number down a little bit, scientifically proven that it has indeed went through that first process of the germination, and yet you can make bread with it. You don't have to add other goodies, so to speak.
So you're, if I understand right, part of your process is controlling it so that you still have a functional product.
And we have such an ideal system for it. It's an enclosed system and all monitored, computerized actually, and very, very capable of sprouting not just wheat or not just oats or whatever the case might be. Beans, we've had calls for triticale, we've had calls on spelt, barley. Obviously we malt barley, and that's taking it a little bit further than just a sprouted whole grain, because we're greatly changing the makeup of the product and the starches, et cetera. One of the things that has happened, and I haven't read all the research on it, I don't think anybody ever has, but it appears that sprouted grain, sprouted wheat in particular, has a lesser impact on people who are gluten sensitive. I'm not saying celiacs, I'm just saying people who are gluten sensitive, sprouted grains seem to have an effect to not be such an effect on people that are gluten sensitive. Why? It's more bioavailable. It's easier to digest. Okay. And then sprouted grains, really and truthfully, they're not new. You know, it's one of those things that's been around for a while. In the old days, they used to take it right out of the windrow because it got left out in the rain too long, and utilized it. It's still of value, but to sprout it to exactly the right amount without wasting the energy is what our system allows us to do.
So a question for you, you've got that list of uses. Are you guys seeing, where would you say the highest demand is today?
I would say probably today it's in breads. Yeah, that would be the highest demand. I think that all the rest fall right behind that, from breakfast cereal to muffins, waffles, pastas, tortillas. That's just listing pretty much everything you would use a flour in or whatever. The plant-based alternatives just adds an extra little bit of health to that whole situation. And certainly it's not just a filler. Whole grains are more than a filler, and sprouted whole grains make them easy to digest.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I guess this is the question and answer period.
We'll do a little fly through, huh?
And Randy filmed that by using a jetpack. He was flying around. No, just kidding.
So what cereal grains are you currently sprouting for flour?
Right now, we've concentrated primarily on wheat. It would be hard red and white wheat, and also barley. And we're starting on oats. We're going to look at corn, buckwheat. We're going to sprout chickpeas and other beans, as I had mentioned. Flaxseed, I just can't help myself but wanting to sprout flaxseed, because there is a benefit to it if you do it right. And of course, the ancient grains, spelt, triticale, and numerous ancient grains that we'll be experimenting with. We haven't done all of those grains yet, but I have a system by which I can actually control where I can get it right. It might wreck a little at first, but after that, I'll make sure and write the recipe down.
Have you done any durum yet?
Randy, have we done Durham?
No, we haven't ran any Durham yet, but we can, very easily.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought we may have ran some, but I guess not.
Yeah. No, it's just been one, we've been concentrating more on kind of the local, grains just around this region, you know? Most of the Durham comes from out west, western Dakotas, Montana. But we do get good barley from out in that country too.
Oh,
Randy,
yeah.
from our good friends out at Birdsall Grain.
Very good. Does anyone have any other questions? So what's next? So Bruce, Randy, where do you see this going to?
Boy. You know, a lot more work. That's what it's gonna create, you know, I've always been involved with new items and introducing new products to the market. I just can't concentrate on one item, one commodity, if you will. And it's really fun bringing new items to the world, to the masses. You know, takes a long time to introduce them. And then once they start moving, it's really fun to watch them, you know, and I've seen that from products like pumpkin seed, pine nut kernels, you know, all these ancient grains we're talking about now that I think all grains are ancient, to be honest with you. They've all adapted to their environment to still be viable, you know, and now I see where, you know, we're really looking at more, how do we sequester some of this carbon that we're all producing? And, you know, now we're seeing movement back into, we want to have perennials out there to sequester these carbons, you know? So I know there's a lot of work being done on perennial wheats, ancient grain wheats, wheatgrass, I believe it is, and things of that sort. So we're actually looking at maybe malting some of that, you know, we're doing something really off the shelf here that we don't know of anybody we've got wild rice, mellowing, or I don't know if that's the right word, coming out of dormancy in big barrels, big water vats. And we plan on malting wild rice this spring. And we're collaborating with the University of Minnesota breeding program and the Wild Rice Association of Minnesota. So we're probably about a month away from malting wild rice. So it's fun just to be involved from an innovative standpoint, but you know, it's also, we're doing this to make a profit in the end as well. You know, so to get a project off the ground, like Think Better Foods or Maltworks, takes a lot of time and effort, particularly now. How do you bring a new product to the market when you can't even go to a show and show it? So thanks to people like you at the Northern Crops Institute, who I've worked with as well for many, many years, thank you for letting us, for this opportunity. Because we need those venues like you're showing here to show these new products that are coming up. Maltworks is, you know, not really making new products. We're making barley, which, you know, now they want us to smoke malt, so they get more like the, you know, old Viking brews, right? Smoky, where they used to make their malt, but they dry it over a fire, right? So old recipes keep coming up on the brewing side. So that's really interesting too, you know? So anyways, I really, really thank you a lot for your whole team.
Our absolute pleasure. So we do have a request. How can people get a hold of you? We've got some people that might want to reach out. What's the best way to contact?
You know, the best way is probably email. You know, I guess we don't even have it on here, but you can always go to our maltworks.com website or Think Better Foods website. Or you can just send me an email, randy@maltworks.com or bruce@maltworks.com, and we'll hook you up with the right people, whatever the project is.
Excellent. Well, unless there's any other questions, we certainly appreciate this. It's it's exciting to see some of these developments happening in the region. So appreciate the time today, and appreciate the work you're doing to grow markets for crops grown in our region.